And we're back.
Welcome, welcome. I am Coach Rochelle.
And I am Coach Alisha Schwartz. So,
Boy,
we've got an amazing topic today.
yes, we sure do.
Rewriting the story after the storm. Wow.
Now,
And then after we discuss our topic, we have a special guest,
Yes, we
Barbara
do.
Ellison. We can't wait to have her on in a little bit. And we'll be right back.
In a world that's rushing, we slow it down, finding light where shadows surround, heart to heart where the truth is told. We rise together, stories unfold. The gold is within. If you don't go within, you go without. Every voice, every heart, it's what we're about. Together we rise, hand in hand, soul to soul.
Hello.
Wow.
Wow, that's an intro.
Isn't that great?
I love it. Love it, love, love.
Together we rise.
Oh my God.
And so do our stories.
And, we do have a lot
Oh
of
my
stories
God.
about rewriting the story. I think there's many stories we have in our lives that are pivotal, some that are more intense stories about our
Yeah.
lives and rewriting it after the storm than other stories. So
Yes.
what do you think about that, Rosh?
Coach
Roche?
again, doing this kind of work for over 50 years. I mean, I could
Keep
write
getting higher and higher.
a book.
First it's 45.
No.
then it's
I
30.
started at 30. I'm 80 years old. What do you want? And I'm proud to be here.
Oh, we're glad to have you.
Thank you. God, there's so many stories. One of the stories that sticks out to me was a very dark night of my soul, and that was asking your father to leave. And I had no basic support in that financially. I had no idea, but I knew from doing all this inner work in my heart, I knew I had to rewrite this story because I was breaking generational ties with wounds, with
Trauma,
generational,
releasing all that trauma
from my mother, my grandmother, and therefore, so sitting and writing this and having to go through all of that, but having the skills and the tools that are so needed and the support that I had, just knowing that I had to trust and I had to have faith. And so in rewriting this story, I heard a whisper the day I was told that that's it, is cutting me off financially. Not that, trust me, it wasn't a lot, but to me it was. And so what happened was I heard God's voice say, okay, now you're ready to take control and you could do it. And that was it. So just sitting there and journaling about it, which was such a great opportunity, I can't tell you how happy I was. When we went to the attorney, I was like, do you have any guys for me? I mean, I was like ready.
She was already ready to go on a date.
But that's kind of a little snippet of my
So I guess what I hear you saying is that when you divorced my father, your ex-husband now, that was traumatic for you because you were very dependent on my father for
Correct.
finances. And back in the day, that was very common.
Absolutely.
In your age
to 16, I married at 20.
To depend on a man for money. And so breaking that tie, you had to then release the trauma of that and say, no more. I can't deal with this abuse. I'm divorcing you. And then rewrite the story, which is what you've been doing for the past 50 years.
I have, and very, happy. What about you?
Well,
I know.
rewrite one of my stories after the storm. I think I think there's a combo story.
Okay, this combo
think-
connections.
And we talk about generational,
Yeah.
right? So my wounds were very similar, of course, from my mother or father, because that's what you adopt. You don't know you're adopting it, but you
You
adopt it. And so that's why you do personal growth work, to really unravel and uncover the trauma so you can then rewrite the story. So I think one of my stories is I had a learning disability. That was a big trauma. And with that learning disability, I had, again, a father that was so verbally abusive. So when you have a father that's a verbal abuser, and then your brain thinks differently, and you're young, and you are feeling like you're not enough, you don't matter, you're stupid, all those beliefs come together and they compile this trauma, right? And so I had all that trauma and all that shame and all that pain, right? Because I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel worthy enough. So by doing enough internal work, shadow work,
Right.
the work we've been doing for a very long time, I had to really uncover and unconceal those beliefs, those limiting beliefs. I'm sure people out there can relate to limiting beliefs are, you don't matter, you're not good enough, you're unlovable. So all those beliefs that are underneath the surface of our consciousness, right, we adopt.
And we
From either parent. And once you adopt it, then that becomes your operating system out in the world to create those perfect people to match the beliefs.
And boy, they're there.
So by doing all this uncovering and unconcealing, we say, right, you learn to find the lesson or the blessing in those beliefs, in those limiting beliefs. And it takes time to go in and get those, beliefs that you have, and then uncover them, unconceal them, find the gifts, find the blessings in it. And once you do, voila, you can rewrite your story.
Yeah.
So now here I am having a podcast with my mom, right? And I'm also, obviously, we're coaches in the world, doing this work and supporting people out there that have similar challenges and being able to support people on a very deep level. I could never do that if I didn't uncover this, and if I didn't rewrite the story, which is now living a great life, being able to use my voice, right? Having the freedom, emotional freedom. So all of that came out of those two stories. And now having a relationship with my father,
which is amazing.
Mind blowing, because he's 84 and he has no more strength to fight. So it's divine. It really is. It's divine to do this kind of work.
And you know what? I also believe that you were so determined to create a relationship, however that was to be. And certainly it hasn't been easy, because when you work with somebody who has no further knowledge about this other than being around us, but what he does is he uses it against us. Like, right, all right. But the bottom line is that you have worked so hard on this with him, and you have said to him, I want this relationship. I can't do this alone. So let me know. And truthfully, he never followed through until very, very, very recently. And it's nice to see that.
And it's really about shifting, that story and that trauma into no longer being the victim of the story. It's being the victor, really seeing the victory of it all.
And there are so many victories in those pieces, because I always call it like a puzzle, and all the little pieces that are entwined come together. And I'm so grateful and blessed to have Alisha with me, and both of us have the same work underneath us. So it's like our stories sometimes come filtering through. And yet it's so great because we don't stay in it long.
No, we don't.
We really, truly don't.
I mean, and I think that's really the gift of rewriting your story and, releasing the trauma. Once you do that, by doing the internal work, once you do that, you're free and you have a choice to create a story that works for you, a story that's like powerful and that can make a difference. Look, all this pain, all this shame, all this stuff, whether it's your, out there, if anyone, I'm sure we all have a story of some kind of trauma, right? Mine was my learning disability and abusive father. Yours was, abusive husband, and all of your stories.
All the abuse that I had along the way. Yes, violation and everything. Yeah.
But I think that's why we have these traumas. I really believe that spirit, God, whatever you want to call, gives us, we come in and we have these traumas so that we can heal them and then share them so we can make a difference in the world. I really believe that.
Yeah, I do too. And I think by sharing the stories, people feel like they can almost lean into it and go, oh, wow, they have that. I can do it. I can do this. Because you show them hope and possibilities and love and happiness. And so, like, if that isn't,
if you don't want to rewrite your story today, let me
God.
just say that rewriting it is so powerful because here's the thing. If you don't go back to the trauma, you're going to just keep repeating it in some other area of your life. There's no way, that you can't repeat it. There has to be, there's a way in, and it's inside. There's a way in to heal it and have a freer life.
Yeah. And it is freedom.
And we're living proof of the
we
freedom.
We really are. And not that we don't keep on growing and
evolving. Always.
I mean, I just finished rewriting again.
Yeah.
It's just what happens, what comes up, what triggers us. What is someone showing us that we can't be with?
And it's all part of
the story, the whole story.
So with all that said, we're going to now hear from our sponsor, and we'll be right back. Hello.
Ooh, how exciting is this?
We are going to introduce you to this amazing woman, and she is so bright and shiny, and we just started to really fall in love with this lady. We just met not too long ago, and we're so excited to have you. Take yourself off mute. And there she is, Barbara Ellison.
Ladies, number one, thank you for having me here.
Oh, our pleasure.
And just, I loved what you said in your first part, because you know what? We all have those traumas, and right now it is such a needed subject. Such a needed subject, because people are feeling isolated. They're feeling alone. It's like, oh yeah, I'm the only, oh gee, and they don't want to admit it. Yeah. They don't want to admit those inner feelings. And so consequently, by not admitting it, they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with them. And guess what? It comes out as being unkind.
Yep.
It comes out as all sorts of other things, that they're unkind to other people. They're unkind to their children. They're unkind to their spouse. They're unkind to themselves.
And how many people out there do we know? I mean, I know people on the street, and you say to yourself, what's the problem? Like, life is so grand, right? But we know because we've been there too. So it's the compassion, right?
Right, exactly. Because you know what? Hurting people hurt other people.
100%.
And that's why this work is so important, that they can realize that so much of it is not because of them.
No.
It's from all the conditioning that they've had since the time they were kids.
Yeah. Yep. And we are, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is that when we're born, we're perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're just perfect.
Yeah.
And then the journey begins, and all the stuff comes to you like glue.
Yeah.
You're not good enough. You can't do it. The whole thing.
Yeah.
But those become our lessons.
Yeah.
Right. the funny thing is, one day I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking. He said, "You know what, Barb?" He said, "I realized that I had a pretty nice childhood."
Wow.
Childhood.
Right?
Went, okay, so, and why are you telling me that? He said, you know what? He said, my parents were great. They were into personal development. And yet, here's me as an adult, still dealing with stuff from when I was a kid.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. In many ways, it doesn't matter what your upbringing was.
No.
Because some people had a really nice childhood. Some people were mine. I realized mine was pretty good. And yet I look back and go, my mother just didn't love me. You know?
And then what did you make that mean? Right. And then you go, right?
And you nailed it. What did we make that say?
Yeah. What did we make it mean?
It's like, and it all goes in together. And and when it all came to the fruition, we talk about surviving your story. When my husband passed away, and in that moment, when I woke up from my widow's fog, I realized that I had no idea of who I was outside of all the labels that I had put on myself, of being a daughter, and then being a wife, and then being a mother, and then being a divorced failure. Oh, brother. Okay. But then I was a successful wife again, and I was a grandmother, and my husband and I were building a network marketing business. So we were a successful business owner. And then he left me, because he died. And now I'm a widow. Who is Barbara in all of that? And then, of course, as I started doing the work that you guys just talked about, that's where it was like, I finally got to the point where I realized that I had spent the first 65 years of my life living my life through someone else's lens, because I was living it through the lens of my family. That nice girls are wives and mothers. They are not business owners, speakers, and putting themselves out there and telling people, hey, you know what? I had to declare bankruptcy because I had a couple of financial issues.
Yeah.
You don't talk about things like that. Well, yeah, you do. We have to. And so that was it was like, oh, brother, okay, Barbara, what are you going to do? And now I love being on these platforms of letting people know that it's okay. We must talk about it. We must become so comfortable within ourselves that we become our authentic self. And being authentic for me, I mean, everybody has, I think, their own definition of being authentic. But for me, my definition of being authentic is being so comfortable in my own skin that, you know what, if you like me, great. If you don't, that's okay too.
That's okay. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
And
That's
so
true.
I guess I have a question for you. Like when your husband passed, how long ago was that?
He passed away in 2011.
Okay. Wow. 2011. That was a year, boy. That was a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
2011. And then I was in my, the only thing I remember after the first year and a half that after he passed away was I know that I binged watched all 10 years of Frasier. That's the only thing I really remember doing, because the rest of it, I was in that widow's fog. And yet I didn't realize I was in the widow's fog until the day I woke up. And I can tell you exactly where I was sitting, what I was doing. And it was like, all right, Barbara, David has died. You have not. What are you going to do?
Yeah. And did you ever talk about that with your husband ever? Like, if I die, because I know some people do, believe it or not. Like, God forbid something happens, and did you ever?
Well, we had to, because I took care of him for 2 years before he passed away.
Yeah. Okay. So that was there. Okay.
The thing was, then I joined to get started. I joined a coaching group, and the very first girl that I met, her name was Pat. And we had absolutely the two sides of being a widow. I took care of my husband for 2 years, and her husband dropped dead in front of her.
Wow.
So we had phenomenal conversations about handling that.
Yeah, and you said something really powerful though. You said you decided to put yourself in a coaching program.
Absolutely.
And that is huge
Yeah.
to support yourself. So
Right.
good. I mean, that's huge out there, people. Hello,
Yeah.
you know,
And
hire coaches, do
Right.
something.
the fun thing was that when I went into that coaching program, it's like, if you had told me then that I would become a coach myself, I would have said, no. No, just because that wasn't, it was out of my purview of anything. I mean, as I said, I think, it's just, women became wives and mothers. They didn't become business owners.
Even though they
Although
are,
they
even
are.
though they are,
They
really.
are. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, we're the lowest paid, mothers,
That's for sure.
lowest paid psychologists around.
It's true.
The thing is that as I started to learn it, one day, one of the events that I was invited to was, I said, oh, it was going to be, the Millionaire Mind Intensive. And now they've renamed it something else. I don't remember what it is, but I went to that, and I happened to be in Montreal, where I'm from. And so I said to my sister, I said, I've been invited to this 3-day event by my coach from my Ultimate Game of Life. So I'm going to go to the first session, and then I'm going to be, and then I went to the first session and went, all right, I like this. By the second session, I was glued to my seat. By the third session, I was like, this is what I want to do, because I wanted to help people start the journey that I was doing.
Yeah.
Of getting in touch with who I was outside of all of those other things that we think gives us worth and value. No. We have to be ourselves. What gives us?
What
And
was
that's
one
the journey.
What was one of the biggest lessons as you entered this coaching that you had no idea about yourself?
It was funny. Okay. In one of the sessions that I went to in this group called the Millionaire Mind Intensive, we all do exercises. And so it's like all getting in touch with who we are and all that kind of stuff. Well, and we were talking about limiting beliefs, those things that we've had since we were kids.
Yep.
Okay. So this exercise, okay, I was 64 at the time. I was partnered with a 30-year-old hottie from South America.
I love it.
That's good.
I love it.
This guy was, I think, 30 something, gorgeous. He was a hottie. And here's me, and of course, as soon as we're putting together, I'm thinking,
what am I doing with this?
He's nice to look at, but what could we possibly have in common? What could we possibly have in common? Well, as we started going through the exercise, we looked at each other. So here was him, 30 years old, hottie from South America, me, a 65-year-old grandmother, and we had the same limiting beliefs
Yes.
about how we saw ourselves in our families.
How perfect.
And you're always sitting next to, and you always have the perfect partner.
Always.
Even if you're like judging it, like you said, you were like, what's going to be common with this guy? He's a hottie. I'm 65. He's 30. What could be?
Know?
But then we see we're all the same. We really are.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, just because he was eye candy didn't mean that he didn't have the same limiting beliefs that he was me, a 65-year-old grandmother.
Amazing.
So that was absolutely a total lesson for me as I'm going forward with my clients and as I'm working with men. And just because, you know what, for them, one of their biggest things is they have no idea of who they are outside of their job title or their job description.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of athletes,
once
they're done, they don't know what they're doing because that's who they identify themselves with. And it's a journey. Yeah.
And lots of times it's from the time that they were children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Because my son's a hockey player, and my son is a volleyball player. My son is going to be the next Michael Jordan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
It's so true. So now that you're here and you've done the coaching work that you've done, and you're in a new story after the storm of your husband passing and re-identifying yourself. So where are you today? Like, where are you in your new story?
I like me.
Mm.
I like me. I like the person that I am becoming. Big word there.
Yes.
I'm becoming. And one of the things that I love to teach people is that, so often, like we were brought up, especially my age group, we were brought up that if we do this, we will have that we're going to do this, job, career, to have this. So we're going to get the corner office. And once we get all of that, then we're going to become this. We're going to become that wealthy, rich, person. I have really realized that it's backwards.
It
We
is.
have to become who we are supposed to be, our God-given talents. Who are we right now? Because once we get in touch with that and know that our purpose, we were put here for a purpose. So what's our purpose? Well, then once we have that, we're going to do the things that we are called to do. And once we start doing the things that we are called to do in our skill set with what we are called to do, that we are so passionate about, that it makes our heart sing.
But do you go ahead, finish.
We'll have everything.
So do you believe that the way to have that and to receive that comes from the love that you give yourself within you?
Exactly.
Otherwise you can't do it.
Starts there. It starts there. It starts there because you cannot possibly give to someone else what you don't have yourself.
Correct.
100%. And we've all tried that.
Oh, I've tried. Hey,
oh yeah, I know I have.
Yeah.
And try to fit into a square peg to a round hole and try to make it work. But I was thinking, as you said, because I'm a aunt. I have a niece. I have a niece. What is she? Yes, I have a niece. Oh, yeah. I have a niece. I'm the aunt. Hello. And I look at her generation because she's now going into college. And I look at, my sister and my brother-in-law, and I see the parents they are, and I see my sister and how she raised Rachel with Albert. And, she doesn't have the same skills and tools, but she's heard us for a million years. And I think by association,
it filters
through.
Yeah.
Right.
And, what I see about this generation is that there is she broke the chain. In some way, there was a chain broken. And because Rachel is not doesn't have the same childhood, doesn't have the same father, and it's amazing because she has self-esteem that is like over the top.
Yeah.
I look at her and I go, I wanted to be you at that age. And it's perfect too, so I was wondering, because you have grandchildren, right? So what do you see in that generational?
Yeah, like I see some of the same things. It's like one of my grandkids. One day we were talking, and I said, "So where are you going to go to school?" She said, "Oh, Grammy, I'm going to I've enrolled at the University of Dublin." University of Dublin, like as in Ireland? And she said, "Oh yeah." And I said, "Well, and okay, so why?" She said, "Because I love doing I want to be in international marketing. I love marketing."
It's amazing.
And they have the best curriculum. So she's just finished year 2.
Wow.
I absolutely love it. And we have absolutely phenomenal conversations because I do marketing. She does marketing. I'm the only one in the family that does that. I talk about personal development and marketing stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, okay." I have no clue. No clue, which is okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And they teach you. Right? They teach you so much. I know Rachel teaches me all the time.
She's such a powerful person.
Yeah,
it is amazing.
Amazing.
And I think the opportunities are more open.
True.
Yeah.
The opportunities are more open. You've got some of these 20-year-olds that are millionaires.
Yeah,
I know. It's great.
Yeah.
It's like,
which
they own businesses. They have 2 houses. They're traveling all over the world. It's amazing. So,
Yeah.
so go ahead.
No. So what I was saying at your age, and of course I'm not that far, I'm a little further on. It's like, do you see any of the generational ties you had that you have basically broken and now see a lot of that healing that you did for yourself?
Starting to, because like I work with Gen X's and baby boomers.
Oh, okay.
So one of the things that I am really striving to, and I'm working towards, is getting rid of some of those generational curses. Because they are, because like has more, especially men.
Yeah.
Like one of
Like
the,
well, they're in the shadows. They're in
Right.
the
Yeah.
shadows.
and one of the things that I say is like we've got two hands. Okay, on this side they have that their job title, their job description, the corner office, the bills to pay, all of that stuff. Okay, on this side they're facing retirement. Oh, yike. Who am I when I don't have that title? Who am I going to be? Am I still going to be relevant? Am I still going to have worth? Am I still going to be able to pay my bills?
Yep.
Well, in this middle here is this gap that nobody is talking about.
Yeah.
This is where I come in, because there's three, like I work with the professionals that are facing retirement. There's three critical areas. Personal growth, which is their identity. Who are you within what you do? And so many people can't answer that.
Oh, probably
then-
90%.
They can't answer it. They don't know. They because they've been conditioned to be their job title or their job description since they were teenagers.
Yeah.
And then they have their health, and they wonder, because they're not happy, they're wondering why their health is falling apart.
Yeah.
And how am I going to pay for retirement? Well, let's talk, because it's in that gap that I can help support you, not do it for you, but just support you while you make those transitions. Because if the guys, especially the guys, women are not, women are still too, but guys tend to, because they don't talk about it. But if they don't make that transition here to here, from here to here,
Right.
then they're going to be dead within either dead in drugs or alcohol.
Yeah.
Within 18 to 24 months.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
that statistic. And right now, the other statistic that I share with people all the time is that 87% of people right now do not like their job.
it's a huge number.
So what's that going to say when they even, they might hate their job, but if I don't like myself now? And that's the key. If I don't like myself now, what am I going to do when I don't have that?
Yeah, totally.
How many men do you work with?
I did this a whole bunches. And like, I'll tell you one of my success stories. His name was Alex, and he lived in Atlanta, and he was in financial services. And so, and I said, well, why are you in financial services? Well, it's just something that I fell into, and, from family and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, if you weren't doing that, what would you be doing?
Great question.
And he had no idea.
No clue.
But then he said, well, as a kid, I always wanted to work with dolphins. I said, what can you do in the next 2 weeks before we talk again to move that needle forward one step? And he went, well, he said, I guess I could check out my local university and see if they have a marine biology course. I said, great. Report back to me in 2 weeks of what has gone on. Oh, brother, ladies, 2 weeks later, he came back. He was like a changed man.
Yeah, I bet. Because then he was doing what he wanted to always do.
Well, it was like I had given him permission to dream again.
Yes.
So he just was excited. 2 weeks after that, I said to him, so what does your wife think of all this? And he started to laugh. And I said, okay. He said, Barb, you've saved my marriage.
Wow. Yeah.
He was happy, and because he was starting to get happier, his wife was going, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It becomes the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
You get one, and the ripple effect.
That saying, be the change in which you want to see in the world.
Be the change.
And you brought him back to childhood. Basically, all the things that he so loved.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was the connection.
Right. Like I can remember as a kid saying, "Oh, I'd love to be on TV. Wouldn't it be fun
Me
to be on
too.
TV?"
Me too.
Here we are. Here
That's
we are
right.
on live streaming. Here we are.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I ever thought that. I
Yeah, I know
just
you
because
didn't.
I was so limited,
Yeah.
because of my
Right.
learning disability, I never even
Yeah.
dreamed that. I was just happy to get to the next grade and not
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And that was a success, to be quite
Yeah.
honest.
With
I
Yeah.
wanted to be on stage. I wanted
yeah,
to be a singer, just,
all
all
right.
of that.
To just get
And but I was on Oprah Winfrey show. So I can't say I haven't had that experience.
Yep.
But yeah, you dream.
And go ahead. Sorry,
and
Barbara.
sometimes it can just be a passing thought. And then but the other side of that was when I was in school. Oh, so all my teachers said, "Oh, Barbara, if you would just apply yourself, you could be a straight A student." The only class that I liked was
Yeah.
history and biology. The only two classes I liked. Everything else was like,
I know.
Yes.
I was,
why
yeah.
do so?
I get it.
Consequently, I did the minimum to get a passing grade.
Yep.
So what do you think could be like like an action step that people today
Yeah.
to rewrite their story after the storm? What's one action you think, or two actions you can give everybody out there that would,
Help
give
them.
them a step up, a stepping stone?
The first thing I have people do is do mirror work.
Mm-hmm.
The very first thing, because they have to get in touch with them. And so like I'll have them stand in front of the mirror, and you don't have to tell me your answers, or do it by yourself, but this is the criteria. You have to stand in front of your mirror, be prepared to cry. Because I'm telling you now, if somebody doesn't cry, they're not going deep enough.
Right.
And then you say to yourself, "Okay, Barbara," you insert your own name. "Barbara, I am so proud of you for fill in the blank."
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it was like, "I'm so proud of you for the fact that you made your bed this morning."
Correct.
To start, just to get to start, to just be able to say the words.
Yep.
Yeah.
The second piece is, "Okay, Barbara, I forgive you for."
Yeah.
Yeah. We know that one real well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the core.
That's the core. And then the third one is "Barbara, I commit to you to whatever that is." And when something comes up and just comes up, and the chances are at the beginning it'll just be surface stuff. It'll be surface
Right.
stuff because you don't know how to go deep.
Exactly.
Always your hand on your heart, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and then that just starts to get in touch with it. Because then once you know that there really is somebody in there,
Yeah.
then you can start going deeper. And that's when meditation comes in. I get people to get into a meditation practice of just, getting into their alpha wave. You're getting into those waves, get to know what they are.
Yeah.
Go into your alpha waves and your beta waves and those things and your theta waves. What are those?
Yeah.
And just it's because you learn different things at different ways.
Yeah. That is so true.
100%.
But you
Yeah.
have to start somewhere. So I tend to start them with mirror work just to get them in touch with just those little surface things that, oh yeah, I can be proud of myself that I, smiled today.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I know another great action step that I love, I'm a big proponent for is an anger letter.
Oh,
Especially writing
yeah.
your story
Yeah.
after the storm, and it's like, "I'm angry at you, Alisha, for blah, 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 for overstepping your boundaries," and just
Yep.
keep it going. It's a good one too.
Yeah, it is. It
That's
is.
been a very helpful one for me.
Anything to get in touch with those, but
Mhm.
start small.
Mhm.
You're not going to go from A to Z in one, and you
Right.
might go from A to B and then go from B to B plus, but then you might go back to A minus.
Right.
Okay. It's just an up and down, but people think that they can just do this. Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way.
It's
They
like
have
you
to
can't
be up and
skip.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to
Yeah.
be up and down.
Where do you see your clients struggle the most?
Being willing to admit that they need help.
Yeah.
Oh, I pray that it
Yeah, I
keeps
hope it
shifting.
shifts.
I pray it keeps shifting.
And I think that's why shows like this are
100%.
so needed. Because when they can listen, even if they hear one little thing that will start the journey, just start the journey. Just take one small step to start the journey. Because once you start on a journey,
Yeah,
That's it.
chances are the universe, I mean, I know the universe will give you the next step
yeah,
and the next step, and listen to that inspired step. Listen for the just, but that's where, but you have to forgive yourself for not taking the steps. Oh, I can't believe I'm 65 years old.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
you ground
with all this work that you do,
Mhm.
what do you do to have fun?
Yes, to
'cause
balance
it's a
out the
tough,
scales.
it's like, hey, what about me?
You know what? One of the things, and people keep telling me I should start a t-shirt for this. Who are you? Okay, so for me, I am a senior. I'm a successful, energetic, no nonsense, inspiring rebel looking for her next adventure.
Yeah, I
I'm a
like it.
senior. Find one thing that makes you. Barb and I talk about it all the time. What is one thing that makes your heart sing? What would you do? When people ask you this all the time. Well, why do you do that? Well, because I like doing it. Find those things. Because chances are, if you like doing it, then somebody else wants to learn how to do it. And once you start, it's getting started.
Yeah.
Getting started.
Yeah.
And I keep coming back to that, but it's the basis of everything. Get started, because that puts you in touch with who you truly are. To get in touch with your true self, to listen to and to trust your intuition.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%.
So important.
So what do you do to have fun?
Oh yeah, in myself, I love to sing. I like to dance. I crochet. I make baby blankets. I've been making baby blankets since my youngest granddaughter was 4. Well, when my husband was in the hospital, I said, I can't sit here all this time. I need to do something. And my daughter-in-law was expecting Elsa. And so I made a baby blanket, and I said, well, then of course I had 12 grandchildren. So I made 12 big baby blankets. It's a never ending. And as soon as I finish one, the universe brings me the person to give it to.
That's so
That's so
nice.
great.
I used to have a baby blanket. I loved my baby
Yeah.
blanket. Oh, it's the best. So cozy and comforting.
So, but yeah. But me, I love being out in nature. I love going out I like hiking. Just,
Yeah.
in the forest or around Joshua Tree. Oh, I love
Oh, that's so nice.
Do you ever hug a tree? I love hugging trees.
Tree huggers.
I'm a tree hugger.
Yes, exactly.
She loves her tree hugging.
Yep.
I mean,
Love
it's
it.
so grounding. It's so loving. It's so inspirational. You just listen and just listen to whatever you're supposed to hear.
Right.
And it's like, okay, thank you. I love you. Yeah.
Right. And like one of the things that I share with people is that my goal is to be able to travel, buy an RV, which I did do once, and then it was like, all right, this isn't working for right at this moment. But now I want to be able to buy an RV, travel around 2 months in the desert, 2 months in the mountains, and 2 months at the beach.
Nice.
The rest of the time, I'm going to be traveling around helping people do events.
I love it.
That's awesome.
That sounds amazing.
Have a big vision. Get in touch with what
you can come to Florida.
Yeah, come to Florida.
We'll
Let's
create
do something.
Exactly.
I love it. I'm a
that would be-
traveling senior.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
full of life and you can have a bumper sticker. I can see it now.
Senior.
I love it. I love it. And your story and who you are.
Oh God, it's so inspirational.
So inspirational for everybody out
Yes.
there. I mean,
Really.
Thank you. Yeah, it's such a necessary, and my story is very similar to many people's stories because it's not my details.
Right.
It's the details of the journey.
Absolutely.
And you can get in touch with the details of the journey because everybody's journey is different.
Yeah. So how could people get in touch with you? Because we're going to wrap it in a minute. But how do people get in touch with you?
Oh, on LinkedIn, but Barbara at wellnessplayroom.com. But I have a freebie if you want. I've got a freebie.
Yes. Yes.
One of the things, I'm all about clarity, and so I have it's like a clarity checklist of just for your energy and stuff. So just all you have to do is you can
Yep, Barbara's putting it right there. Yay.
Text the word clarity and to that number, and it's a freebie.
I love it.
Freebie. And the sad thing is, I had one of my ladies that got it, and she said, "Oh, I don't know if I've ever done any of these things." And I said, "Well, that's the beauty of this checklist, because now pick one and then start. And that's all you have to do. Pick one.
So cool.
And start."
Oh, you are doing such great work out in this world.
And we're so honored to have you.
Yeah. And I feel so in alignment with you because we're kind of in the same generation.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just, it's so wonderful to see somebody like yourself that is helping so many people. And your vision is phenomenal.
And all of that from what happened with your husband who passed.
Yeah, the story.
That's what it's about, everybody out there. Yeah. So if Barbara can do it, Alisha and Rochelle can do it. You can too, and that's what this is all about. So we thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, ladies. This was fabulous.
It was fabulous to have you.
And
really.
Probably maybe we'll have you back soon.
Yeah,
and we'll come up with a new
anytime.
We would love it.
We love it.
Thank
all
you.
Right, so stay tuned. Thank you, Barbara Ellison.
You.
Stay tuned. We're gonna bye for now. So next week we'll be back. With a new episode, so stay tuned. We love you.
Oh, God, we love you from the bottom of our hearts. We're so happy you're here and to have joined us, and Barbara, and listening to the stories, because you know what? We all have a story. So let's together rewrite our stories to the way that we want it to be, and we can.
And we will.
And we will.
So stay tuned for the next episode. It's a little bit, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but until you come back, we'll see you then.
We'll see you.
Bye. For now.
In a world that's rushing, we slow it down, finding light